Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you to our lecturer and all of our friends for giving us the opportunity to present today. Today, our group, our, I will present our topic entitled Mental Health and Poverty in East Nusa Tenggara. In this presentation, we will discuss the relationship between poverty and mental health, the factors contributing to this issue, the findings from the study, and the possible solution to address this challenge. We hope this presentation will provide useful insights and help us better understand the importance of improving both mental health and socio-economic condition. Without further ado, let's begin our presentation. This study explores the relationship between mental health and poverty in East Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia, using an indigenous psychology approach. It aims to understand how local communities perceive mental health, poverty, and the connection between the two based on their cultural values and lived experience. Next. The global context globally, poverty is closely associated with poor mental health, especially in low-income countries. People living in poverty are more likely to experience mental disorders, while access to mental health service remains very limited. In addition, insufficient investment in mental health care has worsened this problem. Mental health neglect in Indonesia. Mental health has long been neglected in Indonesia due to limited facilities, a shortage of mental health professionals, and low public awareness. As a result, some people with mental illness are still subjected to puzzle or psychohysteria. Many families also seek traditional or religious healers before turning to medical treatment. A region, a region in crisis is Nusa Tenggara is one of the poorest provinces in Indonesia. Difficult environmental conditions, infertile land, and frequent drought contribute to high poverty rates, food insecurity, and water shortage. This challenge also have a negative impact of the mental well-being of the local population. Next, method indigenous phenomenology. The research use a qualitative phenomenological approach combined with indigenous psychology. They interview 22 participants to understand their personal experience with poverty and mental health. The data were analyzed carefully and validated through peer review and participant feedback to ensure credibility. Perception of poverty. The community does not define poverty only in terms of money or material possessions. Instead, being wealthy means being able to educate children, support their family, and fulfill culture and religious responsibilities. The local understanding differs from the government economic definition of poverty. Next, perception of mental health. People in NTT view mental health as a state of harmony with God, the community, and nature. A mentally healthy person is optimistic, responsible, sociable, and faithful. In contrast, mental illness is associated with prolonged stress, social isolation, and behavior that violate community norms. The poverty mental health cycle. The findings show that poverty and mental health influence each other. Poverty can increase psychological distress, while mental health problems can make it more difficult for people to escape poverty. Traditional healing rituals, such as Nekti and Sumbur, are used to restore harmony, and the government recognize the potential role of traditional healers in healthcare. And the last conclusion, culture as a core. In conclusion, culture plays a central role in shaping how people understand both poverty and mental health. Mental well-being is seen as living in harmony with God, nature, and society. Therefore, mental health services in remote indigenous communities should integrate local and cultural values to provide more effective and cultural poverty care. Maybe that's from me. I'm sorry if there is that wrong. And last, I say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.